Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry. I thought, yeah. We are watching, sorry, you are watching UKSG, and this is Condemned, A Criminal Origins, coming to you live from the Leonardo Hotel in Glasgow, Scotland. It's getting pretty late here. It's getting pretty spooky. So here we are with the spooky block with Condemned and our runner, Draiga. Or Draiga, I'm sorry.
Draiga, yeah.
Thank you very much. Good luck, my friend, and let's get going.
Okay, so, yes, hello, I'm Draiga. This is Condemned Criminal Origins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the game now. Timing doesn't actually start until we gain control of the main character, but we have a nice unskippable cutscene to watch before that, so I'll just point out when timing actually starts. So Condemned Criminal Origins forms the third, or I guess the second, it was released second, in what I like to think of as Monolith's horror triple, which is Fear, Fear 2, and Condemned. It shares a lot of sort of shared assets and whatnot with Fear, not so much Fear 2, but it's not, Fear is more of a sci-fi shoots type thing. This is more inspired by movies like Seven, detective movies, and whatnot. It is still a very, very good game, quite underrated in my opinion, both as a game and as a speedrun. It has a lot of interesting tech, a lot of interesting glitches and stuff in it that I will be showcasing here. This is, to my knowledge, the first time Condemned has had a chance to be showcased at a marathon run, which is a shame because it's a really, really interesting run. In the past, in fact, time is going to start in a second here. Just after this cutscene finishes, call it 3, 2,
People
1.
are scared. We need to get this
Sorry,
way.
too early.
Follow me. Bodies this way.
Go. Okay, it's good enough. Alright, so the main thing you're going to be seeing me do in this run is quick save, quick load. And that is because quick save, quick load does a lot of things in this run. Most notably, it skips all dialogue. And phone calls, which we're going to be seeing later, which we of course do in the speed run, to skip dialogue and the phone calls, which make up a large amount of this run. But they also do a large amount of other things. Quick save, quick load, that is. It is a very, very important tool in this run. And it's, I suppose, versatility across the entire run is very interesting. As I said, the main thing we're doing with it is skipping dialogues, but it has a host of other things as well. So for right now, we are Ethan Thomas, we are a detective, and we have been assigned this case. There's been this entire city, this game takes place in, has been going downhill for quite a while. And, well, there's been a rise of serial killers, just a rise of crime in general. And so we've been assigned to this case to hunt down this serial killer, whose name I'm forgetting. But anyway, serial killer, we're hunting him. And that's what we're doing right now.
Your stupid car broke my light. Better turn yours on. I hear you're afraid of the dark.
Okay. So the opening for this is unfortunately quite slow. Things pick up a lot in the second level. But right now we just sort of have to go along the intended path. Of course we can skip dialogue, but in some cases, in fact I'll showcase it here. You can skip this dialogue here.
Thomas.
So quick save, quick load, quick save, quick load, skip the dialogue, but it doesn't actually save any time because the animation here is still on a fixed schedule, and the fixed schedule is what actually lets more move forward with the game. After that, we continue to follow our boss here, or Agent Chief, whatever you want to call him, over here, over to the crime scene, where we do more quick save, quick loading, skip the dialogue. And this is the first phone call of the game, where we can see really, really obvious, or I guess not obvious, but we are skipping dialogue here. Just by quick save, quick loading all threats, we managed to skip. Each quick save, quick load skips a line of dialogue. Oops. So we can just move right on. So these are the forensic tools in the game. In the casual game, they make up a large amount of the run. In the speedrun, we actually use them very little because we skip so much of the game. That was the camera. And there's also a sort of odor sensor thing, that we see a couple of times throughout the run. And I'm quick saving, quick loading here through another phone call. I'm not done with it. It's hard to tell. Actually skipping phone calls is an art in and of itself in this game. Each phone call acts slightly differently and has a slightly different timing to it that you've all got to get used to. But successfully quick save, quick load through that. And so now, well, we get the sort of spooky vision of that's not actually the serial killer we're after, that is another serial killer. Or actually, thinking about it, that might be the serial killer we're after, I'm not sure. Anyway, but it's about how...
Hey, Becca, get the lights.
I forgot I have to skip this dialogue, that's why it wasn't working. Anyway, another camera. Oh, that's perfect. How far in the camera is that? Like, zoomed in is RNG. That was perfect RNG. As in, the camera was already zoomed perfectly into the right level. You can lose up to 5 seconds there, depending on how far. If the camera just doesn't want to be zoomed in at the right level, about 5 seconds you're looking at lost. But that was perfect RNG, which is nice. So we have another nice long phone call here. This is, I think, the longest phone call in the game. There is another one later that might be longer, I'm not sure exactly. Let's see. No, it's still going. I unfortunately can't tell you what most of these phone calls are about because I haven't listened to them in a long time. Because it's been a while since I played this game actually casually. But it's largely, these early ones are just about introducing mechanics of the game. Introducing us to Rosa, who is well, usually the other person on the other side of the phone. Who is right now, she's a colleague of ours in the context of the story. Helping us out with our cases and whatnot. Are we done with this? There we go, okay. So, I purposely did that whilst walking in front of him, because that lets us walk into this door, because eventually he's going to come over here, open this door, and normally we would have to walk behind him, but by doing this, we can just walk ahead of him instead, which saves a little bit of time. And we're going to walk into a cutscene here. So yeah, this is when things start going awry. Unfortunately, as with the beginning cutscene, every cutscene in this game is unskippable, which is annoying. We skipped some of the cutscenes, but this is one of the ones that we just have to sit through, unfortunately. But yeah, this is when things start to go awry. We split up, which, as everybody knows, is a fantastic idea in a horror-themed piece of media. It always works out fantastically. And it's also when, after this, when combat in the game is introduced, which we skip a large amount of. Combat in this game is really, really interesting. You start out initially with a gun, but the actual main way of combating people in this game is with melee. And so there are various sort of melee weapons you find throughout the environment in the game, and you use those as your main sort of combat method. But for right now, we have a gun which we are going to be making use of, at least initially.
Be careful.
Okay. So I'm going to quick save here in an attempt to get a small skip. That's not massively important if I don't get it. There we go, okay. You see how I managed to sort of walk forward there for a couple of seconds after the cutscene? That was due to that quick save. Normally you're just stuck in place for a few seconds before this phone call comes in. But managed to get it. So we skip that phone call, we're still stuck in place for a couple of seconds until eventually we can move forward. So that's when the enemies are introduced. This phone call we don't actually have to skip, we can just wait through this one, because it doesn't slow us down anyway. The reason we skip through phone calls is not just because, well, they're still related, but often you're stuck in place whilst the phone call is happening. This game doesn't want you to progress too far before story-related stuff has happened. And so that's sort of the primary reason we actually skip phone calls. That one, the phone call just happens and we just move freely, so we don't have to bother skipping it. I see. So we're just dealing with enemies as we move through here, whilst we still actually have a gun. We finally unlock sprinting at this point. Though it's, I have to say it's still not especially fast, but hey ho, we make do. Then through this door. And we get another spooky cutscene with an, as of right now, unknown figure. Okay, I'm not sure how well this skip is going to go. I'm going to make a hard save here. Let's try it out. I don't think I got it. No. Oops, that's the wrong save. There we go. It's really tough. The timing's really, really tight on it. Failing this, I'm just going to have to do the normal routes. I might have got it. No. So the better your computer is, the harder this skip is, because the faster your load times are. Oh god. Okay, I'll give it a couple more goes. Otherwise, I'm just going to do the intended routes. No, that's not going to work. 2 more goes and I'll just move on. Nope. That's not going to work. Okay, fine. I lied. 1 more go. I got it. There you go. Okay. No, I didn't. I thought I did. Never mind. It looked like I did. Okay. It's fine. So what's meant to happen there, if you get it, is if you hit if you hit quick load on the same frame that you interact with the lever, the game doesn't know what to do and it throws you out of bounds. And so how we hit it on the same frame is we stagger it with quick saves. The better your computer is, the faster it loads, the harder that skip is. And so these computers are very good, so that skip is quite hard on these computers. Could you get out of the way, please? There you go. And so, anyway, so I'm just going to do the intended routes, which is fine. So what's meant to happen is the game throws you out of bounds there, and it lets you skip most of this section, but it's completely fine.
Would now be a good time to read out a donation?
Now would be a fantastic time to read out some donations, yes.
Excellent, thank you very much. Well, there's been some development in the Worms voice bid war. SkinMe has donated $13.01 to put Scouse at the top. The comment just says, sorry, but we need Scouse at the top. Now, as you can see, the current incentives for the Worms voice stand at, if I could push refresh, thank you. Scouse is at $103 in first place. Angry Scots with $102 in second place. Stiff Upper Lip with $101 in third place. And Brummy with $100. A donation of only $5 could put any one of those voices in first place. Thank you very much. Enjoy it. Back to the run.
Thank you. So I've got to skip dialogue. So we're skipping dialogue. So this early introduces one of the concepts of this game, which is special context-sensitive weapons. So in this case, we have a fire axe, which we can use to break down this door. As said, if I could do that skip, we wouldn't see this, but no, we'd see examples of it later on. As is, the game would let me move, please. Just going to take out its enemies. That's the wrong way. I know exactly where I'm going. Yeah, so I'm not particularly practiced with this because on my on the computer I normally run on, that isn't as powerful as this computer, so I can do the skip consistently. But anyway. Interesting thing to note is that I'm playing on 60 FPS. That is because this game was originally a console game that was ported to PC, and it means that things in this game break above 60 FPS. And so notably, stairs don't work properly on 60 FPS. You move slower above 60 FPS if you're on stairs, and so we play at 60 FPS so that we move at maximum speed on stairs. I'm going to quick save here because the game has a tendency to softlock here if you're not careful. So let's hope that it doesn't happen. It didn't happen, okay. So those 2 enemies you have to kill but if you're not careful about how you handle that section, one of them has a tendency not to spawn for whatever reason. So thankfully, they did both spawn in this case, and so we can move on. This is the mysterious figure we've been seeing in visions the entire time. And, well, it's about to do something bad for us, let's say. He previously took our gun, and that gun he's just used to shoot those two police officers,
Agent Thomas,
which I'm sure will have no consequences for us whatsoever. Okay, so that is the end of the first level. Just move on. So we have a nice, good 2.5 minute long cutscene. I mean, if you have anything you want to say or any donations or anything, please, this is a great time for it.
Let me just refresh the bid war. Unfortunately, we haven't had any more donations towards
okay.
that. I'm quite excited to see which one actually does win Worms. But in general, we would like to thank ESA for supporting this marathon. Besides providing us with their channel for streaming, they are sharing gear and technical assistance. ESA Winter is right around the corner on the 18th to the 25th of February. So tune in on this very channel, twitch.tv/ESA Marathon. And ESA Winter 2023 will be coming to you soon. Sorry, I read that line again. So check that out. We would also like to thank BSG for supporting this marathon. They hold bi-monthly gatherings in the Netherlands. They have supported UKSG from the very beginning by spreading their word and providing us with a channel to stream on in past events, among other things. Their next regular event will be announced in the near future. So if you're interested in BSG, follow them at BSG Marathon on Twitter and on bsgmarathon.com to stay up to date on amazing Benelux community's next steps.
Okay. So, this is Leyland Van Horn, who we are being introduced to here. And he is a friend of our father's, I believe. He somehow, again, not explained properly, but hey-ho, he somehow got us out of that predicament, and we are just in his apartment now. And the police are about to swarm us because they believe that we killed those two police officers. And of course, the logical thing to do here would be explain that our gun was stolen. It wasn't us that killed them, but since we need a plot for a game, we're going to pretend that we've been framed for the murder, and so we are now on the run from the police, and we're still after the person who has framed us for their murders.
I am here to help. Now go.
So in a second, we'll get get to actually play the game again. There we go. So pick up the shovel, which we need to break this lock here. And there's a small bit of tech here. You can, in some areas, and it's inconsistent where you can do this, but in some areas you can move forward and start kicking, and that lets you move at the same speed as sprinting, whilst not actually using any of your stamina meter. That doesn't work everywhere, and I'm not sure what the rule is for where you can actually do it and where you can't, but in this particular area you can. I forgot to take a photo back there. Let's take a photo of this. There we go. And we've got more phone calls to get through. This is a bit of a weird one. The timing feels different for this one. As I said, if I weren't using a supercomputer, it's a real art form getting used to the timing of all of the loading for all of them, because timing stops for most of it, but you obviously, because we use a load remover, but of course you want as few sort of gameplay bits as possible whilst you're doing the phone calls, and getting the timing down for all of that is actually a somewhat important part of the run. Is it done? No. Nope, still not done. Okay. There we go, okay. Okay, so we're going to take a photo, or not a photo, this is the odor or scent, whatever it is, thing I was talking about before. And we have more phone calls to skip. Is that done? Nope. I thought it's a short one, never mind. Done? Nope. Yeah, and so actually checking to see whether or not a phone call is done can be kind of annoying. The smart thing to do would just be to do like 20 times just to make sure you're done with a phone call, but I'm impatient, so I'm just going to check every so often to see if we're done with a phone call, which we're still not. Done? There we go, okay. So, we can do this kicking thing to let's move maximum speed. I don't have that on the button, I thought I did. Hang on. Sorry about that. There we go, okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this before. You have a taser. I didn't use it up until now, but yeah, you have a taser, which in the game normal is a major part of the gameplay because it is extremely overpowered and is required for higher difficulties. We barely use it in the speed run actually because we can just run past most of the enemies. And well, we used to use it more because there's a big fight sequence, but we now skip that entirely. And so, I mean, that's the taser basically. We get a more upgraded version of it later, spoiler alert, and that is super, super overpowered, but we don't use that a single time in the speedrun now, so that is one of the few cases where the taser is actually useful. At least in the speedrun, as I said. In the casual game, hyper overpowered, it is vital that you use it on higher difficulties. I see. So, recurring skip in this game. These doors are not good. We're not meant to be able to unlock that door, at least from that side, but we can just look at it and attack into it, and that lets us get our head through it briefly and unlock it from the other side so that we can get the sledgehammer to use on the lock over here. Let us progress with the level. We're going to pick up this pipe here. So, in the past 3 months or so, or maybe not, I don't know exactly how long, a million new skips have been found in this game. This game isn't a well-produced game, or it's a, that's not fair to say, it's just a very janky game. And so there's going to be a huge skip coming up here. And I really like this skip because before we used to have to basically just play through the level normally, and it sucked because it was quite RNG filled and just quite annoying. But nowadays we get to skip it. Unfortunately, the skip to skip the rest of the level is also really finicky and annoying. But it is well, it's A, significantly faster, and B, yeah, I just didn't like the rest of the level because it was really RNG heavy. Is this done? Nope. There we go, okay. You can see there the serial killer, that's who we're chasing throughout the game. This is another area that we can do the crouch thing in, or the crouch kick thing in. As I said, I'm not entirely sure what the rule is where you can use the crouch, what is it, crouch kick thing. Anyway, this is where the skip is. I'm going to manually save in case I mess it up. This, whatever this thing is very important. We are going to be pushing it, and it is very finicky to move because it has a tendency not to rotate in the way you want it to rotate. I'm going to try to push it around this corner like that. Smooth enough. And then attempt to push it around this corner whilst rotating it, which also went smooth enough, okay. Push it into this corner, just like that. That's not quite right. It's moving. That should be good. That looks good to me. And I'm going to start pushing into it. Quick save, quick load. And this is going to get us into this sort of weird crouching state. Oh, now we can move over here to the corner, start hitting this. Messed up. Yeah, this part's super finicky and inconsistent. There we go. But eventually, that's going to push us out of bounds. And this lets us move over here, get onto these pipes. And this is basically the end of the level now, which is very nice. It skips, I don't, maybe half the level, probably more like 60-65% of the level. And the rest of the level, which we did actually have to use to do basically normally, sucks. I'm just going to activate the trigger here and immediately run down the stairs again. So the game, let's say, so there's a trigger there that we have to activate for the door down here to actually open, because through here is when, where the end of the level actually is. So we go through the door. We can do the quick kick thing again. And after the slow-mo bits, that is the end of the level. So thankfully we can just move on to the next level, and there is no cutscene this time, we just move on straight on. Yeah, so that's that skip with the out of bounds went smoothly enough, thankfully. I have, in one of my practice runs, I lost about 2 or 3 minutes to that just deciding it didn't want to work. So I'm very thankful it went smoothly enough here. So this enemy, quite important. If we tase him at the right moments, like that, we can just kill him instantly and pick up his fire axe, which we're going to use to break open this door. Then turn around and pick up the gun that was hidden there. Then just tase the enemies that are behind us because they're annoying. Go. Hang on. I'm gonna quick save, quick load. Quick save, quick loading. Actually just refills your taser thing. The top left corner, you can see the taser refilling. So that's how long you have to wait before you can use the taser again. Quick save, quick loading just makes it recharge instantly. So that's what I used there. Just so I can tase the enemy behind me again. And I'm gonna do it again because that tase just did nothing for no reason. There we go. Alrighty, another pretty big skip here, and this one's also kind of annoying, so I'm going to make a manual save. I'm going to get into the corner of this bin. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oops, and I loaded the wrong save. Going to get into the corner of the bin, open it, and it didn't work. Hopefully, that should work. No? Okay. That should also work. Really? Game, come on. Oh my god, the game is being mean today. Jesus.
Is the game being mean, or is the PC just too powerful
There we go.
for it?
It might be the PC. Let's blame the PC. That's what's meant to happen. I'm stuck in this. What's on earth's going on? Okay. You're meant to get a crouching state there. You're meant to get a crouching state. And crouching isn't a mechanic in this game. But by quick saving at particular points in this game, you can get into a crouching state. So that removes collision for certain objects, most notably that railing, which means we can just skip down to the second floor and skip. It's not actually that much, but it's a small cutscene and stuff. And coming up here, so this game has a DLL which you need to make it run properly, just because it's an old game, and so I have that. And there's an extra DLL you can install because this train, for whatever reason, doesn't have the sound effects it's meant to have, and so we're just sort of awkwardly riding along on a silent train now. So that's just a thing that happens now. This is quite a long section, basically just an auto-scroller. So so we're still chasing the serial killer X for the story. He is driving the train, which I assume the character knows at this point, which is why we jumped onto the train. And, well, we don't have any control. We can hit things, look around, and, well, enemies and stuff, but none of them will actually get to us. They're all just there for the aesthetic. Yeah, as I said, normally the train would have sound effects if I'd bothered to remember to install the DLL, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the speed run. It's just purely a sound thing. These enemies will attempt to attack us, but we can just stun lock this guy just by hitting him repeatedly. And then eventually he'll get knocked off. And then after this, we're going to get a cutscene with the serial killer we are chasing. Eventually, there you go, okay. It was quite rudely, I think, going to knock us off the train. And that is the end of that level. After this. There we go. So, thankfully, we can just continue straight into the next level. Yeah, we've got beeping. The game wants us to detect stuff. I know where we're meant to go, so I'm just going to run straight to the next place where we're meant to go, which is through here. And so at this point we start getting some more supernatural enemies, most notably these crawling things. Let's pick up the shotgun here and then climb up this ladder through this door, and then we're going to tase another one that's going to attempt to jump scare us, though. Oh, come on. There you go. Okay. They're instant kills just with the taser. And so, quick save, because we have another skip here that's quite easy to mess up. Climb this ladder, and quick save whilst we climb up it. Then quick load once we start the animation. And that actually repeats the animation. So if we do that again, we can mess it up. This isn't going to work. Okay, hang on. Everything's totally fine. Let's just reload it and try again. We can just quick save, and as soon as we pull out our gun, we can quick load, and that repeats the animation. And so we can do that twice here. Really? God. That looked like it was going to work. So hopefully we can do this twice. Game, come on, please give it to me. This isn't that hard. Like, the time for this isn't that tight, and yet the game just doesn't want to give it to me for some reason. There we go. Okay. So we can use that, and we can just climb through that door, or phase that door, and just move on without having to look through the alternate way around, which is what we all normally meant to do. Climb down here. So coming up here is the only thing in the game I'm actually certain relies on FPS. I've tested around pretty much everything in this game with FPS. This is the only thing I know for certain is FPS dependent, and it's not actually the thing you think it might be. This is another skip that's only found recently, and it's not as, actually it's still pretty big. It's not as big as the one before, but so 144 FPS instead of our normal 60. We're going to open this train door, go into it, start spamming W, quick save, quick load, and that's going to get us into the crouching state again, which we're not meant to be in. That didn't work. Hang on. Do it twice, like that. Get into a super low crouching state, run forward, And in this super low crouching state, that door doesn't have any collision, and we can get into this corner, quick save, quick load, and I don't think that works. No. Oh, did I? Oh, hang on, it's fine, it's all fine. I can reload the checkpoint instead. Okay, I forgot to do a manual save there. That was my mistake. I really should have done one, but it's all fine. So we have a somewhat close checkpoint here. Yeah, so we can get the idea is you can get into a super low crouching state, kick into that corner, and well, there's I'm not entirely sure how it works, but for whatever reason, the game it just lets you fall through the floor there if you get into that corner like that. So let's manually save this time. Get into the super low crouching state like that. Run through this door. Get into this corner. And hopefully the game will let us fall through the floor. Come on. Come on, game. Oh, you know you want to. I can see myself getting low and low into the floor. I'm actually getting low and low, and the game just doesn't want to clip me through. Come on. This can just not work. There we go. Okay. Clip through the floor. And that skips a long section where, well, the most important thing is the fact that it lets us get onto the other side of this. And it doesn't look like there's anything here, but normally there will be a steam, sort of a burst steam pipe that's preventing our progress. We actually skip the trigger for that, and so we can just get right into the other side here. Here we're going to jump down, do the same thing where we repeat the animation to climb through the floor here. So we're now out of bounds. And hopefully make it around this corner. No, this corner is super finicky. Surprisingly finicky because there's sort of a small invisible wall there that's quite difficult to make it past. That was fine though. And come onto this ladder. And so I activated the trigger there, and so the game now thinks we're basically done with the level. And I'm just going to be killing some enemies just so I don't die. And hopefully this guy doesn't kill me, because he can kill you if you're unlucky. But no, we're fine. Okay. And so we can now run through here, and you're actually going to see we actually took a small amount of damage there, and we did sort of a damage sound effect. That's because that's where the steam's meant to be, but of course we don't have the whatever it is, the effect loaded in, but it's still the steam's still like loaded in to the effects not, and we can now trigger the end of the level. Righty. So we do have a cutscene here. At this point, we're still on the run from all the police and everything. Of course, I mean, in the speedrun, we're skipping most of the story scenes and everything, and all of the phone calls, but Feral, who's calling us now, has been helping us, at least ostensibly. And again, we haven't done the reasonable thing of just telling the police that our gun was stolen, and that's why it's our gun that was used to kill the police officers. But regardless, at this point, well, I sort of in the lore of the game, I don't think this is made entirely clear, but supposedly in the lore of the game, according to Wikipedia, Ethan Thomas, who is we play as, has an ability to sort of detect serial killers and their motives and actions and whatnot, which is why he's been so effective. And well, this happens now. All of this, unfortunately, isn't explained until the second game, and I haven't played the second game because it's not available on PC, and it's also not a very good game. So I can't actually tell you what's going on with the story of this game properly, because a large amount of it isn't explained until the second game. Like that entire cutscene isn't explained until the second game. Feral's motivation isn't explained until the second game. Why there's been such a rise in serial killers isn't explained until the second game. It's just a lot that isn't explained until the second game. But anyway, regardless, this is the mall level, which I'm going to say is probably the most iconic level of the game. It's certainly the scariest in my opinion. After this cutscene, however, or not cutscene, it's a phone call. Still going, okay. I think that's done. Yeah. We're going to pick up this, and I'm going to manually save here in case I mess this up. Going to start pushing this box carefully towards that wall over there. This is harder than it looks because the box can't be pushed from all directly. Like here, you can see the box just gets stuck sometimes. And so we're going to start carefully pushing the box. That looks good. Going to get up against this wall. Quick save, quick load. I'm going to be sort of sucked into the wall, and we can start shuffling forwards and backwards, and we're entirely out of bounds now. So we can see the entire level loaded in, and we're going to make a careful jump down to there. Go back in bounds, and this is the final room of the level, conveniently enough. So we can just activate this trigger here, which causes all of the ending things to spawn in. I'm going to grab the shotgun from our fellow police friend, kill the enemies, pick up the health, and then trigger this phone call, and start quick save, quick loading again to skip the phone call. This is the phone call I was saying before. This one might be longer than the one in the first level, I'm not sure. And actually there's also, okay, there is a final one a bit later on that is also quite long, but this is the final really, really annoyingly long one. Yeah, so that skip is another one that was only found recently. It is, for obvious reasons, by far the biggest skip in the game. Before, we used to have to play through the entire level, and it's not the worst level in the game, but having the ability to skip the entire level, that instantly cut off 5 or 6 minutes off the game's length, which is very nice. Still skipping the phone call here. Oh, come on. Yeah, and so anyway, so doing that out of bounds, and then we can just jump because the entire level is loaded in all at once, we can just make a careful jump, and we just get into the very final room of the entire level, then just activate the trigger so that we can actually get all of the end of level stuff spawned in. That final fight is trickier than it looks because the cop, friendly cop that's there, he actually has to die. The enemies that spawn in are invincible before that, and you also have to kill the enemies because otherwise this final phone call doesn't trigger. So the idea that we usually do is we actually tase the friendly cop, pick up a shotgun, let the enemies kill him, and then use the shotgun to kill the enemies after they've after not invincible, after they've killed the friendly cop. This phone call is still going.
I could talk about the charity for a bit if you'd like, while you're trying to get this loading done.
Please, that'd be great. Yeah. Actually, we've got cuts in after this, so yes, go.
Well, if anyone here is, if anyone is watching UKSG right now and is interested in finding about about other marathons or even submitting to UKSG in the future, don't forget to check out oengus.com. You can find information on upcoming marathons and the games being played, schedules, and more. And if you want to get updates for when our marathon goes live and when your favorite runs are coming up, follow us on Twitter at UKSG Marathon. Also, if you use the hashtag UKSG Red 2023, you may be featured on stream. It's hashtag UKSG Red 2023.
Good, okay. So after we eventually got done with that phone call, that was just a straight sprint to the exit there. And thing to note about the end of level trigger there is the fact that in rare cases, you can actually just fall through the floor. You're meant to activate the trigger and break through the doors, and it's all meant to be automated, and then fall down to the end of level trigger. But the end of level, it's I don't know how to describe it. The geometry of the level wasn't put together properly, and so you can actually just fall through the floor there on rare occasions, which is why I quick saved before activating the trigger in case that happened. That's really, really annoying. There's not much you can do about it. It's just due to, I guess, developer fault by not putting the end of level geometry together properly. It's just quite an annoying time loss. Anyway, for right now, the police are closing in on us. Towards the end of the level there, what happened was the police started swarming us, and so hence why we had to make such a hasty exit. And well, we've determined that there was a new serial killer in the city, which, not the serial killer we were chasing before, this is a new one, who we've deemed Serial Killer X, whose entire sort of operation thing is they hunt down other serial killers and then kill said serial killers, or kill the other serial killers using their MO, if I don't know if that made sense. But so we determined that our target now is actually this Serial Killer X, as we've called him. And so this becomes the new sort of objective right now, is to try and hunt down the Serial Killer X. And so we're going to head to the library to hopefully find any information we can about him. Pick up this pipe. Hit this enemy to kill him. Go through this door. And then quick save in case I mess up. Tase this enemy. Pick up his shotgun. And then the rest of this level is actually just an arena fight. And so this is the biggest bit of RNG in the run. So we're going to have a big fight. The enemy spawns are all random, which is quite annoying. So we're going to have one climber up here. He's consistent, so we can just kill him right now. Jump down, kill this enemy here, so he's consistent. And then the rest of the enemy spawns from now are random. And so they can spawn either from over here or up there. And so I'm going to make sure to look out for where they're spawning. There we go. Is that one? No. Here we go. Kill him. Oh, that was extremely good. It's also random how many enemies spawn. So in that case... Oh no, never mind. I thought that was the end. Normally when that guy spawns, that's the end. This game's soft locked. The game can soft lock here. No, okay, we're good, okay. Okay. I was worried the game is soft locked. I have had the game soft locked there before with just no enemies spawning. Fortunately that wasn't the case here. Yeah, so that's all of that is random, where enemies spawn, how many enemies spawn before like the final enemy spawns. It's all completely random, which is quite annoying. That was not great because the enemies were delayed in spawning for some reason, but anyway, that's fine. At least we didn't die. Oh, and this is my least favourite cutscene in the game now. For reasons that I hope will become apparent soon.
What the hell was that?
Thomas, I'm at the library. Where are you?
Rosa, be quiet.
That's just awful. It's just a straight like Skyrim. Yeah, must have been the wind type moment. It's just very stupid.
Hey, Smithy.
Yeah.
Johnson,
Anyway.
wait up. Rosa, are you still there?
Very few people can tell me to shut up and get away with it.
Sorry, I'll be there in a couple minutes.
This game has great. This game has a great aesthetic, a sort of great atmosphere, but storytelling and writing is not its strong suit. Okay, well, regardless.
I was just going to ask, has that person not heard of radio silence?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, after that little scuffle with people, or I'm not sure if they're homeless, with criminals, whatever you want to call them, we've made it into the city library. One thing, so the city library within the game's story was burned down in a fire a while ago, or something like that, or damaged in a fire maybe. So it's been abandoned since then, hence why, well, you know, we can just break into it, and hence the abandoned look and all of that. We're going to activate that lift, and then run back here, and then run back towards the lift again. And so that's not to make the lift activate, like the lifts will come regardless. What that actually does, there's meant to be a cutscene in this lift that happens, but running back there and then back towards the lift, for whatever reason, just caused that cutscene not to happen. It's extremely odd because you don't do anything apart from just. It's maybe you're moving out of range of it or something. I'm not sure.
Thomas, over here.
So we can just move straight
This might
on.
not have been a good idea. Squatters and
This
moved
Rosa, I don't know if she's been in the game up until up until thus far. She's the person we've been communicating with over the phone this entire time that we've been skipping.
I found this folder in your supplemental personnel file.
Okay, so we've got to open this folder to its last page,
During your last physical, they found several abnormalities.
and then close it, and after that we are free to start skipping dialogue once again. So I'm just going to do a whole bunch of dialogue skips. This one's also quite long, so let's do, I don't know, a lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that enough?
Oh,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I also
Yeah, so no matter what, you then have to skip that final thing. And so we picked up a taser upgrade now, which in a casual game would be extremely useful. Of course, we don't really use the taser. The taser in easy is actually 2-hit kill, no matter what, no matter the enemy. And so utilising the quick save, quick load, instant recharge thing, that's actually the best way to deal with most of the enemies. It's just to tase them once, quick save, quick load, and then instantly tase them again, because it works from a distance. But we can just run past the enemies, which we're doing the speed run.
Look for a computer that's in working order.
Okay. So we're going to pick up this and get a nice spooky sequence with him, who I don't think has ever actually given a name in this game. He is in Condemned 2. In Condemned 2 is called Hates, but in this game you never get a name for him because things just aren't explained in this game. And so come on, there you go. Skip one line of dialogue, wait for the second one to trigger, then jump through the window.
I found a working computer.
Jump through the window. And if you jump through the window soon enough, you can just run in front of Rosa here, like that, instead of having to wait behind her, which you would normally have to do. Activate the computer and skip the dialogue that happens here.
Damn it.
Like that. And activates another spooky cutscene. So this the second biggest skip in the game, I believe, what I'm about to do. It doesn't look all that flashy, but it basically gets us straight to the end of the level from here. We're going to do the head clipping thing, which we haven't done since the beginning of the game. Ah, come on. There we go. So we can clip our head through the door there and unlock it from the other side. Because of course that door's meant to be locked. Knock it from the other side, we can just clip our head through it. One through here. Oh, actually didn't point this out. Yeah, so this is just here, because the game doesn't expect us to be here at this point, and so this is just here, because the game, well, this is meant to be sort of spawned in at a later point, but because the game doesn't want us to be there right now, it's just there, sort of oddly. There's the enemy, pick up his gun, and then do another head clip through this door here, like that. And then run forward, activate the trigger at the base of those stairs, run back out. And so so we activated the trigger there, so the game thought we'd gone through the entire level, because that's basically the end of the level right there. The game thinks that we've gone through the entire level normally, going back out triggers the cutscene. We get a cutscene here.
Here it is.
So I didn't mention it before because I didn't have time, but the folder that I was opening at the beginning actually showed a bunch of sort of abnormalities about Ethan Thomas, about his body, his physiology, and that is why, again, not in this game, only in Condemned 2, that's why the Oro, as they're called, are so interested in Ethan Thomas, and that's also why the hate, which again isn't explained in this game, only in Condemned 2, that's why he's sort of been hunting Ethan Thomas.
Doesn't list occupations, just a
Again,
list of names.
that's all only in Condemned 2, not explained at all in this game. Yeah.
been listening to
But
us.
for right now, we're still just after Serial Killer X, and well, there he is.
It looks like we've attracted
And
other
we have a
unwanted attention.
fight sequence here. So we're going to start this off by sprinting forward instantly. And you can actually see the enemy spawning in there, because we're slightly too fast for the game. One over here, have another one spawning here. So we shoot once in the body, shoot once in the head, and that kills them. And then it's the final enemy, like that. And that was quite a clean fight, actually.
The exit. We need to make a run for it.
And so after that we have Rose come up to us. And we
What
do
are serial-
more dialogue skipping. Let's finish the level off.
Thomas, it's Malcolm.
This is also another just sort of stupid cutscene. Leyland Van Horn just shows up out of nowhere,
Going as well as it can.
and Ethan doesn't question it at all. It just like he does question it, doesn't
Just a coincidence.
you know, if this were real life, Ethan Thomas would presumably just cut contact with
Coincidence?
with him immediately. But
I've got a job to do. Excuse me.
within the context of the game, because we need a story, he doesn't, and continues. Well, isn't at all suspicious of him, and the fact that he keeps on showing up coincidentally and is helping him out for unknown reasons. So we do another head clip here to unlock this door. So no, there we go. Pick up the sledgehammer and use it to break the lock over here. So this is the, I think, the longest level in the game. Maybe tied with the intro, I'm not sure. Or maybe the intro is slower, that's what I'm trying to say, I'm not sure. This is certainly the most difficult level in the game and the most complex. There's a lot of sort of bits to this. And so hopefully it'll go fine. So we're going to start off here just by hitting all those enemies, and we specifically do want to kill all of those enemies. Let me just get this guy actually. Hello? Game, please. Oh god. Okie dokie. So we specifically want to kill all of those enemies and not just run past them. That's for a skip we're going to do here. After we use the sensor on this. And start skipping phone calls. And this is the final third really long annoying phone call in the run. This one isn't as bad as the other two, but it is still quite a lengthy one. If you have anything to sort of add or say,
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I can just talk about the charity for a very quick bit. So, yeah, Crisis are a charity that help people out of homelessness, as you've heard many times already. And that is the charity we're raising money for here at UKSG. So, in a little in their own words, we at Crisis, they never accept the unacceptable, and neither will our supporters. When we come together, we always find a way. Your support can help people find the safe, secure housing they need. And as a bit of a price breakdown for, you know, how much what money goes to, what your donations actually go to. So, for example, £10 could provide a warm welcome and someone to help to take their first steps out of homelessness. £32 could help fund one-to-one specialist coaching and housing benefits, well-being and work. £64 could help fund one of our support workers to assist someone trapped in temporary accommodation look for affordable and settled housing and negotiate their housing rights. And $100, and we've already had quite a few $100 donations, so thank you very much. But $100 buys buys a household starter kit filled with all sorts of household essentials that someone might be able to afford, might not be able to afford, to help them settle into their new home. So yeah, as a bit of a price breakdown, that is some ways that the Crisis help the homeless. So thank you very much for your donations, guys.
Right, so managed to skip that phone call, and we have an interesting one here. We're going to be quick saving into this until the animation starts. Quick load, and this just throws us out of bounds. Absolutely no idea why, but we're now just thrown out of bounds, and the animation continues to play until we gain control. And so we can carefully stand on the sledge here and start doing quite a lengthy outbound sequence here. Okay, good. So I was quite worried. Randomly, these chairs can be knocked through the sort of gaps here, and that basically just screws up your entire run. And I didn't really have a backup plan in case that happened, but it is rare enough that I just gambled on it not happening. And so thankfully that didn't happen. We can do... Anyway, so out of bounds. It's a really, really odd one, that. So I have absolutely no idea why that just throws you out of bounds if you just quick load after that animation is done. Or after the animation starts, rather. But here we are. Carefully quick saving along the way. And then after this, we can carefully jump. Nope. There's a small bit you can stand on here, even though it doesn't look like it. Even though it doesn't look like there's anything there, that's what I'm trying to get onto, like that. And then failed to get back into bounds. Come on, game. There we go. Okay. And so that is a fairly lengthy out of bounds sequence, and it's not especially difficult, but you do have to be careful about exactly where you stand, because you can. It's hard to explain, but you can sort of sink into the ground if you're not careful about it, and that means you fall out more easily. Which, yada yada yada. It'd be sort of annoying if you're not careful, as well as the game. If the chair just decides to fly out through the window, that basically just screws your entire run up. Which, thankfully didn't happen in this case.
Thomas speaking.
And the reason I specifically killed all of those enemies is because they can follow you into that room whilst doing that really, really long phone call. And if that happens, that large gap, large fall from out of bounds can kill if you don't have enough health. And so you kill all of the enemies to make sure they don't follow you, don't attack you, so you have enough health to survive the out of bounds fall. We have a small fight sequence here. The way to do this is because we still want to have the sledgehammer. So we pick up this other random weapon, we run back here, pick up the rifle which is there. I'm going to quick save in case I mess this up. Shoot that enemy. Shoot this enemy as he comes over here. And shoot this final enemy. Okay, good. And you have just enough bullets to take all three of those out. And those are the three required ones so that we can pick up the sledgehammer again and move back through here. Or not move back through here, but just move on to the next area. Yeah. So that's this is Mr. Tibbles, and he's a very infamous character within the game. We see nothing of him in the speedrun apart from this, basically. But he has his own sort of sub-story within this level, which also makes this level quite famous, but as I said, we unfortunately don't get to see him much throughout the story or throughout the speedrun. It's possible to clip through that door, but that's extremely finicky and inconsistent, and it barely saves any time, so it's fine, not getting it. So we're going to jump through here, and then jump over here, and this jumping animation actually gets us onto that this debris here, or whatever you want to call that, and that just lets us jump right through it, even though we're not meant to be able to. And then tase that enemy. Okay, and then do another head clip here, but here, so I actually want to activate that valve, which I got first try. That is actually a very, very annoying thing to do. Very nice I got that first try. So we activate that valve, and then I'm going to take this valve head and slowly inch it towards the corner over here. And it's quite important that it doesn't fall off the edge, because we can't get it from there. Slowly set up into the corner here. That should be good. Go into it, and yeah. So there's an invisible wall here that prevents us from sort of going over there, but using the valve we can push ourselves through the invisible wall, I suppose. And at the base of the pool there was a trigger for another spooky fight sequence, which we're meant to do, but we can just skip the trigger for that and just move straight on, which is quite nice. Pick up the fire axe here. Use the fire axe here.
Can I ask you a question?
You most certainly can, yes.
Is this a good time for a donation? If
in
not,
a-
that's fine.
in a second, we're going to have a thing here, and then we're going to have, I believe, the next level starts with a cutscene. That'd be a great time for donation.
No
Then.
worries.
Ooh, get through the door. And okay, again, actually, yeah, you can do. Actually, you can do it now. Think about it, yeah. I forgot about this bit. Because this be a time for the donation.
Sorry, now a good time?
Yeah, now be a time for the donation.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you very much. We have here $69.80 from Yorkie. And he says, thought I'd give the worms blindfolded missions a little push over the edge. Thanks for running an amazing marathon. Good luck to all of you. And thank you very much, Yorkie. Yes, with that donation, we have met the blindfold incentive for Worms World Party. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Let's see. So after that, phone call, and then activate the level. Okay. So that yeah. So the school is I'm gonna say the most difficult splits or level in the speedrun. That went smoothly enough, but there's just a lot of small moving parts, a lot of very finicky tricks that can completely screw up your entire run. So you have the out of bounds, and then you have the clip to activate the valve. That's also extremely annoying. Like I said, I got it first try, which is quite nice. That rarely happens. I was quite lucky that I got that first try here. And then that pool skip using the sort of valve head is also quite finicky and annoying. Alright. Yeah, so Leyland Van Horn showed up once again, and Ethan Thomas continues to associate with him, despite him being the most suspicious man possibly in the entire city.
You seem to know a lot more about what's happening than you're letting on.
Oh, okay, I suppose he is getting a little bit suspicious of him, but
This is Appleseed Orchard Estate. Stay on your toes. I'll drop you off at the house and head over to the barn.
I see.
With you later.
So this level has the hardest skip in the run. It is thankfully this level is just this one skip because the skip's basically the entire level. But it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say the hardest skip in the run. This is also a new one, and so before this was found, this was another really annoying, really RNG heavy level. Because we had to do a huge fight, which again had random enemy spawns and blah 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 blah. But now we get to skip all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, take this box, and actually I'm going to do a manual save just in case something goes wrong. And slowly start pushing this box over into another room. And this is slightly harder than it looks because there were sort of invisible things on the floor that prevent the box from moving properly, and we need the box to be in a particular orientation. We need it to be like that. I'm going to push it up next to the trash here, get up on it, go onto the corner, or the edge rather, spam right, quick save, quick load, and I think this is working, and then we're going to start spamming up and down alternately, and right up against this wall. And what makes this skip so hard is the fact that it's impossible to tell if you're actually doing it right and if it's actually working until it's actually happened. And so I think this is working. I said it's impossible to actually tell until it's happened. And so eventually, if this is working, we should. Come on, game. We should. There we go. Start to phase through the wall. Come on. Yeah, this is really, really annoying. There we go. And we can just phase the wall entirely. Okay. Yeah, so that is, I'm going to go ahead and say the hardest skip in the run. It's incredibly annoying to do. And it's impossible to tell if it's actually working or not until it's basically done. But that does skip more or less the entire level, so we have one final thing here, and this final thing is also a really, really annoying part of the run, which we unfortunately don't yet know of a way to skip. But that skips a huge sequence where you have to sort of solve a puzzle where this is where Serial Killer X is believed to reside, and so he set up a bunch of puzzles around the house, and we have to solve the puzzles to eventually let us into this room. But we can just face the wall and just get into this room without having to do anything.
Don't you want to know what it feels like? We're not even half done. Carl.
Yeah. So he's currently got another serial killer captive here. And, well, the captive serial killer, well, you can see his fate here. So
Your fate is
we are going to pretend to be him in an attempt to get the upper hand on Serial Killer X. And we have a very, very, very annoying boss fight here against Serial Killer X. This is also quite RNG heavy, quite inconsistent. So I'm going to be quick saving right at the beginning so I can reload if anything, if it goes really, really poorly. As soon as it's done, okay, quick save, and pick up the shotgun. Okay, so we're going to start shooting him with the shotgun and hopefully get him sort of stuck in, it's already going wrong, hopefully get him stuck in sort of a corner here of this room, which I failed to do, but it's fine. There we go, this is better. And start hitting him with the shotgun as a melee weapon and ultimately blocking, so we don't take too much damage from him. This shotgun will eventually break like that, at which point we're going to have to run into this other room, pick up this, and he should follow us, which he did, and so we can deliver the final blow to him. It is that's a super, super inconsistent fight, super, super annoying. His AI just sort of does whatever it wants to do there. And also, it's possible to do the fight without having to pick up the extra melee weapon. That's also super inconsistent. Because it depends on you getting the exact right shotgun shots, and because he's moving, because and it's impossible to predict what he's going to do. It's a very annoying fight. Anyway. And so this is the final level of the game, and this is a fairly standard level from here. We're not going to be skipping a huge amount of it. But, well, Serial Killer X has supposedly captured us, along with Leyland Van Horn.
You still don't get it? I've been using you, Ethan Thomas.
Yeah, this is where his big, sort of grand master plan is revealed. But of course, things are going to happen in just a second here. That within the context of the story of this game, just come out of nowhere and not explained at all, and just, yeah, I mean, I've said it before. To get the full story of this game, you have to play Condemned 2, unfortunately.
I got good at it. Shame it ruined you at the Bureau. But some things are unavoidable. Of course, since you're no longer going to be any help, there's no reason to go on this way. How would you prefer to die? I didn't like the torturer's methods much.
Very,
Perhaps
very threatening.
like the roadside carver. Ah, short and sweet. Or maybe the bone cutter. Neatly dissected the body, removed the internal organs, and labeled them for the police to find.
Yeah, I mean, it's basic reveal here that he's been manipulating us and using us the entire time to find serial killers that we've been hunting, so that he can find the serial killers and kill them himself, because that's his entire deal. But anyway, Leyland Van Horn, it turns out, is alive, and he managed to rescue us from that situation. OT. So this level is fairly standard. We are going to do one small skip, or I'm at least going to attempt it, but it is somewhat reliant on RNG. Yeah, and all of these voices and stuff, these all come completely out of nowhere within the context of this story, or within the context of this game. Well, the point is the mysterious supernatural figure we've been seeing throughout the game, Leyland Van Horn, has told us that we should probably go and kill it. That might be a good idea to finally deal with it once and for all. It's also suggested that is what has been causing the rise of serial killers and crime throughout the entire city. And so this final level is sort of a chase as we try and get to the figure that is later revealed to be called the Hate and Condemned 2. And in a final showdown with them. This is where the RNG comes in. I would ideally like this big enemy to start fighting these smaller enemies, which he isn't going to do, it doesn't look like. No, I'll just okay, it's fine. I'll just kill him myself. So ideally you would want the big enemies and the small enemies to fight each other so they're distracted, so you can do this skip coming up in peace. That didn't happen in this case, which is unfortunate, but it's fine because I can just kill them myself. And so the skip is coming up in this room, so otherwise, in fact, still got some chasing me. Yeah, otherwise, if you don't do anything there, these enemies just chase you, and you don't sort of have enough breathing room to do this skip, which is in this room. So we're going to pick up health, pick up the rifle here. I'm going to save. And we're going to push this chair up against the window, attempt to get up onto the chair, which, there we go. Then start smashing W against the window. Quick save, quick load, and hopefully the game should eventually let us through the window, like that. And that skips the sequence where we have to find a way to open up that barricade, which I call it a sequence. It saves not much time actually, but still worth doing. It saves maybe 15 seconds. So we're going to pick up more health here. We unfortunately lose our flashlights or torch, whatever you want to call it at this point, so we have no way of illuminating the environment around us, which is somewhat annoying, but... So, we see here, that's not actually the Hate himself, that's just, I guess, sort of a mental copy of it that he then has, or that the Hate is causing us to see. Going to be carefully trying to avoid taking too much damage here, which I'm not doing a great job of. Okay, we're fine. And well, we just have a huge parade of enemies following us, but it's fine, we're faster than them. Shoot these two enemies, and then pick up one of their rifles, because this has more ammo than the rifle we had before. Continue to run forward. Block this enemy so it doesn't, which again I did a pretty poor job of there. And pick up the health that is lying here. Righty, so we're going to have a huge parade of enemies following us here. and we sort of want to try to get as far ahead of them as possible, because we're going to be activating a small trigger, which takes a couple of seconds sort of work, I suppose, during which the enemies can catch up to us and just hit us as much as they want. And so we're going to want to try and get as much distance between us and them as possible before that point. Yeah, he's super fast, which is annoying. Okay. Okay, here's the trigger. Gonna quick save. I didn't get it, I don't think. No. So we have to pick up the stick to activate this, but during the fade out animation, you can actually look at the gun you've dropped on the ground and pick it up, which the game doesn't expect you to do, and take it into this final fight sequence here. And so these enemies, they were a one-hit melee kill. This enemy over here spawns in. He's a one-hit shot. One-hit shot, because the game doesn't expect us to have the gun here. These enemies, we are specifically going to want to do it like this, so we can kill both of them at once. Oh, I missed. That's fine. And then there should be another big enemy that spawns in. There we go. And we can get all of them lined up like that. He didn't die, unfortunately. So if you could die, please, that'd be lovely. Actually, let me get some health. My god, you are... There we go, okay. You're still not dead. Okay. So, we specifically wanted to let those enemies fall, because one of them had a fire axe, and the best way to deal with the final boss is to repeatedly hit him in the head like this. You see that only took 3 hits with the fire axe like that. And so that's the first phase of this sort of final boss fight. Every phase is the same, so we're just going to be doing the same tactic of just circling around him and hitting him with the head of the hammer, or the sort of a blunt of the hammer. A hammer, axe. This is the second phase. He can block you, but as long as you get him semi-consistently, it's the very best way to deal with him. There you go. And one final phase for good measure. Was it done? That's it, okay. So that's not time, because we... So, from now we have a 3.5 minute cutscene to watch, unfortunately. And we're waiting to do literally 1 mouse click, and that is when time actually ends. But this is all purely a cutscene for now. I mean, still have control right now, but it's soon going to turn into a cutscene. And we're just waiting then for about 3.5 minutes to do 1 final mouse click before time actually ends. Yeah, I mean, you would think after all of that, this is when story stuff will actually be explained, but of course it's not. And so what that thing is, what's the entire deal with why he's here, isn't explained at all in this game. Not even given a name in this game as far as I know. Leland Van Horn conveniently shows up once again to save us. I mean, yeah, and it's just about a, say, 2.5 minute cutscene there.
I was just gonna say, is this like a Fight Club Tyler Durden kind of scene? Or
yeah, I mean, there is a reveal here, but it's not. It explains nothing about what the hate is.
Sadly,
Not until the second game.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
There was a reveal here, but I'll just say it since it's going to be revealed here. It's revealed that Serial Killer X is Leyland Van Hound's nephew, I believe, or maybe son. It's a sort of big reveal of this cutscene. But again, nothing about the hate or where he came from, why he's hunting Ethan, why, all of that. You have to wait until the second game for. Yeah, so at this point it's revealed that Serial Killer X, who is Leyland Van Hound's nephew, isn't actually dead. It's actually in the boot of this car. Which leads into the final decision point of the game, which whether you want to live, let Serial Killer X live or die. And for speedrun purposes, it's faster to just kill him. So we're waiting for the cutscene to be over so that we can shoot him and officially end the game.
We were all good people. We were able to fight it back, most of us. My nephew was not as strong. He fell victim and destroyed so many things. We fought to save him. I must continue to do so.
I don't care whether the sick fuck is in his right mind or not.
Think of what you are doing.
Yeah.
Both of you have a chance for redemption.
Redemption. Listen, old man, you used me just like he did. You used me to save your precious nephew.
I guess the reveal that Leyland Van Hound is also manipulating us the entire time, which I mean, honestly shouldn't come as a surprise, but yeah, that's also meant to be a twist in the story revealed here. Let's see, timing ends in 3, 2, 1. There you go. That is officially the end of the game. Yeah, that was Condemned Criminal Origins any percent. It's in my opinion quite an underrated speedrun. It's come a very, very long way in the past few months, mainly thanks to Hippo. Big shout outs to Hippo. He found almost every skip in this game. He made the run what it is today. He helped me tremendously with learning the run, helping with all the skips and whatnot. Yeah, I don't have anything to say really.
All right, well, thank you very much. Yeah, that was a really cool run. We've got a quick, well, it's a $50 donation here from our good friend Viper, and he says, hopefully this will push the Worms bid war over the edge. And he has put that the entirety of that $50 donation towards Scouse, which is now $50 ahead of Angry Scott. So, if you'd like to break a UKSG tradition and make sure that Angry Scott doesn't get in, well, keep going as you're doing. But if you want to keep tradition, you want to see Angry Scott, get those donations in quickly. This is going to be the end of my hosting shift for now. I'm going to hand it over to Skenme, and in the next game will be FEAR, also run by Draiga. So, thank you for watching, and we'll be back after a very short intermission.